I mean, if everybody starts liking Roman Reigns and then he comes back and has a rematch and he beats Brock, it'll be
an awesome wrestler.
It was, but nobody liked Roman. He wasn't ready. So when they get someone like a homegrown, up and coming talent similar to like Finn Balor. Let's say Finn comes back, he gets on a roll.
Think he can beat Brock?
Yeah.
Finn Balor?
Yeah. Why not?
He'd kill him.
It's not in the MMA.
No, Brock, we know it's wrestling, but he doesn't know it's wrestling.
He knows. He knows. Brock, he'll take it.
Mentally,
Vince will be like,
something is
I'm
missing
going to give you $3 million to lose to Finn.
He'll snap Brock in half.
I mean,
Finn, I wouldn't.
I mean, like you said,
there would be a lot of prayers.
I think they're saving the Brock loss for, up and coming young talent
Brock
who will benefit.
Is this century's Psycho Sid. Remember Sid Vicious?
Yeah, Psycho was. Brock is kind of like he's in a class by himself right now. Because, like you said,
right now he is.
Because you don't know if he's really wrestling or if does he think this is real?
No, he thinks it's real.
Yeah,
like look at Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
like I don't think. You remember when he came back and he busted up John Cena lip?
Yeah.
When none of that was scripted.
I don't know.
It is for like 2 seconds until Brock mentally snaps, and then he kicks you in the face with them MMA knees.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not. He's what do they call it? Stiff. He's kind of stiff in the ring. He's just gonna straight right.
The dude is dude is psycho, man.
But I think him and Goldberg, it'll be some screwy finish.
You think they'll let Goldberg beat him?
Nah, it'll be like some screwy kind of finish. Disqualification. I don't know. He cheated. He pulled his tights. I don't know. Kicked him in the balls. Like something like that. And but like you said, just what was I saying before? I forgot. We were talking about Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, we definitely went off.
We was mostly comparing the rosters.
I think like you said, Raw's roster is far superior to SmackDown. And I think, like you said, a lot of people from NXT are probably going to be going to SmackDown to bolster that roster. But Shinsuke has to go to Raw.
To me, he's too big of a...
Yeah.
He has too big of an aura.
Yeah, you can't
for
kick him for 2 hours. Like, I got to see him for 3 hours.
That type of aura has to be on the main stage.
And the only person on SmackDown that I would want to see him wrestle was 2. AJ, they've already done it. And he's never wrestled John. I don't think he's wrestled John Cena. Because AJ was in New Japan. They wrestled. John Cena, of course, hasn't been to New Japan anything. Maybe Randy Orton. But, on the Raw roster, though, I could name 3 or 4 or 5 names that I'd love to see Shinsuke wrestle on free TV on. He would turn a match, and you haven't seen it, but him and his first match in WWE was in NXT against Sami Zayn. There was no build up. They just said, "Hey, Sami, you're gonna face Shinsuke." Wow. That match felt like a grudge match, 20 years in the making, and it was the greatest match ever. So when he goes to Raw and they say, "Hey, you gotta face Golden Truth," I'll sit there and watch that. I'll sit there and watch Shinsuke versus Goldust, and he'll make it feel like a grudge match.
I'm in agreement with that. Like
he has to go.
A couple of Shinsuke matches, and the dude is freaking amazing, man.
Very much so.
Just amazing. What we're gonna do now? We're gonna go ahead and piggyback into the next segment because this is what I'm passionate about. The actual state of the WWE. How is the WWE today compared to the Attitude Era? The era I can't get past by. I just love it like way too much. I just can't get past it. Now I will agree, and we'll go into the breakdown. The overallness of today's wrestling is better.
Oh, yeah.
The wrestlers are better.
Yeah.
I don't think their microphone skills is good.
Like I think I told you that yesterday. Like Cesaro, he can wrestle with anybody, but like you said, the microphone skills.
Kevin Owens is good on the mic.
Yeah.
I think Dolph is good on the mic. Of course, John Cena is freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
R-Truth is funny at times.
Yeah.
Maybe not now. Goldust is retarded.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that breakdown. What I want to do now is play a soundbite from my boy Daniel.
Okay.
He's pretty much going to discuss what he feels about the state of the WWE. Hope you guys like it. Enjoy.
Hey man, I just want to say first off, I appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast. I just wanted to give my 2 cents about the current state of WWE. You know, being a lifelong WWE fan, watching it from the Attitude Era, even before the Attitude Era, up until now, I would definitely say it's in a weird place right now. Talent-wise, from top to bottom, this is probably the best and deepest roster that WWE has had ever. Like, seriously, just from, you look at the main eventers down to the lower card guys, this is the deepest roster that they've had. And it presents a problem as well because it leads to a lot of guys kind of being left out. And that's why I felt like the brand split in itself. Now, I wasn't really for the brand split before, but in this instance, I really do like the brand split because if you look at how they did the brand split on Raw, you have a lot of the guys that were coming from NXT or the younger cats, like the younger main eventer guys in terms of your Roman Reigns, your Seth Rollins, your Kevin Owens, etc. Raw is still going to be the main event show, so you want the younger talent to be able to showcase themselves on Raw, and SmackDown is where the names where you know and you are familiar with, that's where they are at, like your John Cena's, your AJ Styles, your Randy Ortons and stuff. And plus they are able to have other guys like a Dolph Ziggler, Bray Wyatt and such be able to go there to be able to showcase themselves, a Dean Ambrose as well, to be able to up their status inside of the company. I know a lot of people didn't like the brand split. I did like it. The problem that's been going on, and you know, I got a couple of points I want to hit with, is that it seems to be the idea of the brand split went well, but it's not being executed properly, at least on one of the shows, that is. The reason why another reason why WWE is that kind of in a weird state right now is on the monetary side. If you look at things such as ratings and things like that, they're kind of going down on an all-time low, especially from back in the mid to late 90s when you had the Attitude and the Ruthless Aggression era. I think one of the main problems that WWE had was back in the day when they became a publicly traded company. When they became a publicly traded company, it kind of took the fervor out of Vince McMahon in a sense, because then it went from him basically being the head honcho, which he still is, but now you have a board of directors you have to answer to. And with the board of directors come it takes away a lot of the risk factors that they want to take, that they want to have, but it also takes away a lot of the things that they used to do, where they used to try to push the envelope a little bit, kind of being able to do things that you normally wouldn't see. That's why your Stone Colds, Rocks, even Triple H, Kurt Angle, people like that were able to shine back in the days because they kind of had a less leash in terms of what they could do promo-wise, things like that. Whereas now when you have a publicly traded company, you have to watch for what you say, language, things like that. It's kind of getting a little bit better, but, you know, that's why I think they kind of went wrong. I understand from the money perspective why, but that was where I felt like they kind of went wrong in the whole PG era and things like that. I know one thing a lot of people have a issue with is with people saying that SmackDown is better than Raw. And I'm actually in the majority that feels that SmackDown is better than Raw. Now, this is not to say that Raw is the B show, SmackDown's the A show. I'm not saying it for that because we all know Monday Night Raw is the main event show. The reason why, and I can only speak for myself, why I feel that SmackDown is better than Raw is three things. It's simple to follow in terms of your feuds and storylines, the writing and the booking on SmackDown, and also the talent on SmackDown. What I mean by that, if you look at the storylines that's on SmackDown, they're a lot more easier to follow than Raw. Raw is kind of all over the place. They kind of make it less about the wrestling and more about the entertainment side, which I understand. But SmackDown, the storylines are easy to follow. Look at this past weekend on Sunday. You had the pay-per-view. A lot of those storylines, they built up properly over the past month or two. You had the Miz and Dolph Ziggler, where they actually made people care about it because Dolph Ziggler's career was on the line. So you had the way that they booked it, and plus you got the head writer that was from NXT that is now on SmackDown. So that kind of shows you why, you know, SmackDown is kind of having a better storyline-wise versus Raw, because they have a clearer vision in what they want to do with their product, versus Raw, where it's kind of like the whole authority line and Stephanie McMahon. You barely see Shane McMahon on SmackDown. The wrestlers are the forefront on SmackDown, versus Raw. It's kind of like this whole ever-ending revolving door between Stephanie McMahon and Seth Rollins and the authority being in control, and which has kind of gotten old after a few years now. You look at the storyline on SmackDown as well with the John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and AJ Styles. AJ Styles beat Dean Ambrose for the championship after beating John Cena, set up a whole feud between him and John Cena, which is probably going to culminate next year at WrestleMania, such because you see that they plant the seeds in your head because John Cena wants to tie Ric Flair's record. See, that's long-term booking right there. That's where you see that there's an end to what this whole feud is going. Now, John Cena's not going to be on TV probably for the next few months, but we know that when he comes back, him and AJ Styles is going to continue this feud, which is going to be with John Cena having another probably WrestleMania moment, which I'm fine with because it shows long-term progression. On Raw, there's no long-term progression. You have currently Seth Rollins and KO going against each other, but after that, what's going on? Like, there's no long-term storylines that are being built right now for, let alone Hell in a Cell, but mine past Hell in a Cell. And I think that's where the disconnect comes with the fans, because you give us nothing to really look forward to. They throw stuff together. It's a lot of talking, not about the wrestling, which I understand they're trying to appease to a younger audience. But for us core wrestling fans that kind of really, really, really want to see wrestling, SmackDown right now is doing better. You know, and this kind of goes to the whole creative booking, because, you know, you see things, you hear people say Vince is out of touch a lot, and that is true to an extent. Now, Vince has done some great things over the past few years. There's been some good moments, but the Vince McMahon that we once knew back from the Attitude Era, and trust me, I'm a proponent of the Attitude Era. I love the Attitude Era, but the Attitude Era can't touch now in terms of just pure wrestlers. But what the thing was is that Vince gave an opportunity for these guys to succeed. You got guys like Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, I'm glad Kevin Owens finally got his title reign, but he only got his title reign because of the fact that Finn Balor got hurt. And trust me, I love Finn Balor because I was a big proponent in NXT. But it seems that he's trying to use the John Cena model too much with guys like Roman Reigns, and now possibly Seth Rollins, seeing that he may be turning face here. I don't know. And the thing is, people don't want to see that. We've seen that for the past decade with John Cena. And John Cena, and to be honest, Roman Reigns can't touch John Cena's shoes. He's not getting over with the fans. And instead of sitting up here saying, hey, let me go ahead and try to turn this guy into a heel, as they did his cousins, the Usos, who are now getting over with the fans, they're continually just ignoring the boos and just keep. Even though he doesn't have the heavyweight title, they dropped him down and gave him the United States title. I don't get it. I don't understand. And it's like, in that whole feud between him and Rusev is not, I don't consider Rusev a bad guy. Roman Reigns basically came in and destroyed his wedding. Like, in real life, you would think to yourself, hold on, the guy that came and destroyed someone's wedding, that's the bad guy, right? But no, they're booking it as Rusev is still the bad. It just makes no sense. And there's a bunch of guys on the roster. One of the problem is that they stripped NXT so much of their roster with the brand split that, you know, it's so much talent, but not enough room. I'm not a big fan of the titles being all over the place. Each brand having their own titles. But the thing was, it was so much talent, you had to do something. Like, if you didn't, then basically you would have 15 guys trying to compete for one title, and that didn't work the past couple of years because it left a lot of guys out. Another problem that I have is I hate that there's too much Shield going on and this is just me personally.